Wow, you look awesome. Welcome to the You Look Awesome platform, hosted by me, Dr. A.D., a HBCU graduate. Leave your opinions or comments in the comment section. I have been asked to review the sci-fi thriller ISS, directed by Gabrielle Cowperthwaite, starring Ariana DeBose, Chris Messina, and John Gallagher Jr., shot in the U.S. The plot goes: when a World War event occurs on Earth, America and Russia, both nations, secretly contact their astronauts aboard the ISS and give them instructions to take control of the station by any means necessary. The movie starts with U.S. astronauts on a Russian spacecraft going to the ISS. When arrival, a woman is shown around and there's 3 Russians and 3 Americans on board. A war breaks out between the U.S. and Russia on Earth. Then things start going wrong on the ISS. A lot of lies are told, and only 2 survive the mission. The end. This director, Gabrielle Cowperthwaite, she's a writer and a producer, along with director, but she directed this movie. This movie took place in the United States. It really didn't have a storyline to it. It just talked about how Russia and the U.S. are having problems and tensions between each other since 2016. Although Russia made the ship that was used to transport American people to the ISS, things still doesn't feel safe around Russians on this craft. Nobody seems to trust anybody on the ISS. Everybody watches their back. Even between nations, the 2 people, it was 3 Russians and 3 Americans. The Americans couldn't trust the Americans. The Americans couldn't trust the Russians. The Russians couldn't trust the Russians, and the Russians couldn't trust the Americans. So, in this movie, there wasn't no honor between nobody. And as they circled the Earth in the ISS, they noticed bombs being dropped. I think it was between Russia. It could have been bombs dropped on Russia or bombs dropped on America. They didn't really say. In this movie, you had to read a lot of captions. There was a lot of captions. You had to read what was the Russians saying because they was talking in their language. Yeah, but it's a lot going on right now in America. And from looking at the news, there's a lot going on in Russia as well. Russia has a problem with a country named a Russian country, Ukraine. Russia is at war with a country called Ukraine. And in this country, there was a Chernobyl accident where it was a they produced something that produced they was produced well in short terms they was producing nuclear weapons in Chernobyl. So while they was doing that, the nuclear stuff that they was making ended up messing, just going into the earth. So in this movie, they was learning how to cure radiation poisoning. Nuclear material came from out of the building and went inside of the ground and started making its way to the Earth's core. So they had to block off the area, and they had to evacuate the area of all humans and animals. They had to kill the animals, and they had to get rid of the plants and Chernobyl is like a big farming area, so they had to get rid of all the produce, all the chickens and cows. They had to get rid of them, and I guess on the ISS they feel like it's gonna be more of that. When you drop a nuclear bomb on the Earth, the nuclear bomb kills it messes up everything that it comes in contact with, even after hundreds of years. So they said in this movie, they was learning how to cure radiation poisoning, because that's what is the real big deal. When after the nuclear bomb kills everything, blows everything up, sets everything on fire, even 10 years later, there's still radiation. So on this ship called the ISS, they was learning how to stop radiation. So that's something to think about. I wonder if they getting closer to their mission. Are they learning more about radiation? Because if you drop a nuclear bomb, enough of them, the nuclear bomb is going to reach all around the Earth. It's going to take up a good amount of Earth. And we're going to need that research. Because the way it's looking now, it seems like a nuclear war is inevitable. Especially looking at Chernobyl. Because if nuclear energy and nuclear waste a nuclear nuclear stuff that makes nuclear bombs, the nuclear, what makes it nuclear, goes into the earth and goes deep into the earth. I mean, the earth, the water, everything. You gotta get rid of the water. You gotta get rid of the dirt. You gotta get rid of the air. You gotta get rid of the animals. You gotta get rid of the humans. Everything has to you gotta get rid of it. You can't even bury the animals or the humans in the dirt. So what you gonna do with them? You gonna have to burn them. Even if you burn them, you gotta get rid of that ash. I mean, that's crazy. Just like when the COVID-19 thing happened. They wasn't even burying people in the dirt when COVID-19 happened. People that died from COVID-19, what they do with them people's body? They couldn't bury them in the dirt, so what they do with them? I guess they burned them, huh? They had to burn them and what they do with their ashes? They might have just sent them to space, put them on the ISS, and sent them off into space and let them just float in space. Let them just let their ashes go off the ISS. Yeah, but the movie ISS, International Space Station, was alright. I mean, it seemed like they didn't want you to really know what's happening on the ISS for real, because that'll be like if you say that the Americans took over the Russians, then that'll make the Russians mad. You know, they got nuclear weapons. And then if you say the Russians, it was shot in the United States. So if you say the Russians took over the Americans on the ISS, then that would make us look like we weak. Even though Russia kicking our ass when it comes to space travel. Russia kicking our ass ever since Sputnik. So, you know, it is what it is. And it seems like America is falling further behind in the learning curve when it comes to the world. Especially since this COVID-19 thing, you know, it seems like they're going to have more scientists coming out of Russia than America. So it seems like America is not doing too good when it comes to space exploration. So leave your comments in the comment section. Have a good one.